Hi, I'm KK Brancer, and this is a preseason prep giving you the inside scoop of college women's basketball before the season starts up. We're going to be hearing from Saylor Poffenbarger and Mir Mclean. Maryland is coming off of a great year. They were 25-8 overall and in conference 13-5. They ended the year in the Sweet 16, and they are preseason ranked this year at number 10. Led this year by Saylor and Mir. Saylor is a redshirt senior who was coming off of a great year. It was her first year at Maryland after transferring from Arkansas and UConn. She was Cheryl Miller Awards watch list, and she scored in double figures in 12 games with 5 double-doubles. She led Terps with 18 points versus number 1 UCLA and averaged 9 points and 7 rebounds a game. Mira is a grad student from Maryland as well. She averaged 6 points and 6 rebounds in Terp's 3-game NCAA tournament run. She picked up her first double-double as a Terp with 10 points and 10 rebounds versus St. Francis. It was also her first year at Maryland, where she transferred from Virginia and UConn. We're super excited to hear from both of these about what Maryland has coming up for this upcoming season. We kind of want to talk about going into this season being ranked number 10. How has your season or how has your team's preparation changed from last season to this one, especially as you're ranked among the top 10?
Um, I would say I think Coach B has a really good approach of she kind of reminds us that like rankings in preseason don't mean a whole lot. So I think just keeping us hungry in that way, she wants us to like go in and approach each practice as if we weren't ranked. Obviously, any ranking puts like a target on your back. At any given time when you play a ranked team, I feel like you get everyone's like best game because it means a little bit more. But I think she just does a really good job of like keeping us kind of level headed of like not allowing it to keep us too high or get too low, like obviously giving us the respect. But I think we've kind of attacked it the same, just, trying to get as ready as we can and prepared knowing the target that we do hold.
I mean, I think Sailor hit the nail on the head, honestly. Just what Coach B says every day in practice. It's not something that we touch on too often. We just try to stay focused within ourselves. And then the numbers will come in to play later. But I think Sailor said it's exactly right. Like Coach B lets us know that our preseason rankings don't mean anything. We haven't done much yet. And just seeing where we go in practice and how well we're able to play with each other.
I know you talked about coming in every day, like with that mindset and things like that. What do you feel like has been your biggest focus going into this new season?
I would probably just say like consistency and then our defense. We've put a lot of emphasis on like our deflections and being able to like disrupt the offense. I think we have the speed and we have the length and the depth to be able to like be super effective on the defensive end this year. So I think just incorporating that and just trying to be disruptive has been like a big focus. Obviously rebounding comes with that, but I would say just our defensive intensity has been a main focus for us.
Sailor, and I know you're playing back home in Maryland, and I know your family personally and all those things. So, being able to have your family close and being able to watch or have them watch you play, I know you have brothers who've play football, and you're able to go and support them. And how has all of that been?
I think it's been great. I like personally like obviously I've had the experience of I went to UConn and Arkansas, so like I've been away and I think, you don't like you kind of don't realize that you take for granted those little things and I think being able to be back here I'm gonna drive away from a home cooked meal or drive away from one of their games or even if I just want to go home for the night, I'm super close. It's like 45 minutes. So I think it's been really special. Obviously I'm very close with all my family members and then being able to have them in stands, whether it's just at all my games or coming to practice or like coming down to different like if it's men's basketball or football, like just being able to see them all the time has been really special. I just think it's been a full circle moment to be able to finish here because I think, sometimes you don't realize like when you see them every day, like how different your life is when you go far and it's like you just get to see them for holidays. So I think being able to see them a lot more often has helped me a lot mentally and just being able to feel super supported has been awesome for me.
Yes, and I know the same with you, Mir. You're from Maryland. You've been to other schools and things like that. So, how has that been with being able to just be closer to home and have them support going through last season and then going into your last season this year?
Yeah, like what Taylor said, all the resources are here. We're just a drive away from home. That's really good. It feels like I have my college freedom still, even though I'm in my like childhood home and just being close to it. I think also it's sometimes challenging because you only get a certain amount of tickets during the games, and everyone wants to come, like your high school friends, your middle school friends, your family. So just trying to navigate that, but like the support is awesome.
Funny. I resonate heavily with the tickets thing because I know my teams are so annoying when I play, like, because I'm a little bit closer to home as well. So like getting tickets and stuff, I know my teammates be like, "Girl, how many tickets do you need?" Because you only get a certain amount. You literally have to tell them like, "Okay, like you gotta buy your own tickets." Like tell people know and stuff. And I couldn't imagine being like actually in the same state. So that's funny. But Mira, I know you've been injured. I've also been injured, and I know how that is mentally, and not only physically, just being able to have those going through the season and sitting out in seasons. Sailor, I know you've been injured a lot. Mira, can you talk a little bit about your journey of being injured mentally and how you kind of stayed level headed with that and going back into the season? I know last year was one of your first seasons where you were able to play fully, and how does that feel going into this season, having that season under your belt, and then being able to play this season as well?
Yeah, so I've been blessed with a few years under my belt. Just in college in general. I've been in college since 2020, and not one has been like the other. I think also with the injuries, it's kind of put me at a disadvantage almost with how much time I've been actually on the court. Seeing that though, last year was like really important for me just with my body and how I felt playing the sport that I love, and just being able to actually play freely without having to worry like, oh, what's hurting now, or why do I feel this way? And then just putting my like full trust in God and like the intentions that He has for me, and trying to focus on that, and not necessarily trying to think of like, oh, why am I doing this? Why am I not playing? Why does my body feel this way? I think just trying to be in one with God, and then also with how my body's feeling. Um, it was challenging to begin with, but I think that through my faith, I've been able to kind of navigate it better.
Injuries aren't talked about a lot. I feel like, especially like in high school and AAU, like you might have gotten injured and have injuries and stuff growing up, but um, being in college and having to practice every day, the season's so long, like obviously you're going to face a lot more injuries and stuff. And so just being able, like you said, like listening to your body, I know that was my biggest lesson that I learned was being able to listen to your body, because I felt like I was always a person of like, go, 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 like I can do it and things like that. And just finding that balance of pushing yourself, but also being able to give yourself grace. And I know you, with the experience that you've had that. um, and so Sailor and Mir, I know you guys played together at UConn and were really good friends. I remember when you guys, Sailor committed to, uh, you guys both committed to Maryland, and just seeing you guys' posts like, oh, we're back together. I vividly remember that. So how does it feel to be playing together and then having that experience going into the season of having that chemistry and stuff, um, being on the court together?
Yeah, I just think like, when you're so young and you like you start at UConn together, like I feel like we've been through a lot together, and I think that it just only builds trust that like can translate on the court. We were obviously like like each other's safe space at UConn. We talked a lot. We had a lot of really hard conversations. We like transferring in general is a hard thing to do. So we obviously were like super supportive of each other during that time. And then, continuing that friendship at our new schools and just continuing to bounce off of each other, like whether she was calling me about something or like sometimes it was completely non-basketball related, but just continuing to build that relationship, just off the court was super important. And then being able to finish here, obviously we're both from Maryland. We've, created such a good friendship. It's just been special just being able to have each other. Obviously, like we have a lot of trust. We have gone through a lot together. And I just think it means a lot to be able to finish and, be on such a successful team, because it's just an attest to like how much we've gone through together, and just being able to finish together is special.
Yes. Going back a little bit to Maryland, you guys both have had a lot of experience. We've talked about that. What role do you see yourselves playing in, like mentoring younger teammates and transfers too? I know you guys have some really good transfers that has came in with Yarden and Alucci, and so how has that been? Just having that experience and the pressure of being a top team. What role do you see yourselves both playing? What role do you see yourself, Mir, playing at Maryland this year?
Yeah, I think that us three, me, Yard, and Sailor, we were chosen to be captains, so that's really important to us in our program. And with that, I think that we've done a good job of trying to, lead the team and have the team, be approachable for us and have the team like come to us when they need anything or vice versa. I think just in general, we've tried to build that relationship with each other, um, just around the team in its entirety. And I think just in general, we're just trying to, piece together everything. Obviously, the transfers are new and the freshmen are new, but in a way, this is just a new team in general. Yes, you have a few returns, but everything that we've experienced so far has been a new experience, and we just wanted to build off of what we did last year. So, in a way, we're excited to, start the new year, but also bring in some of the old habits that we created last year to help benefit the team for this year.
And playing, I know, with Brenda Fries, who is a legend. She's had so much experience of winning, and she's just a pioneer in women's basketball. How does it feel to play for her, and kind of what makes her special, Taylor?
I just think like the way like how intentional she is. I feel like a lot of programs like talk about family, and I think that Coach B does a really good job of like really implementing that family feel. And I think she just she builds that relationship. She goes the extra mile to really know her players. I know me and Coach B have a great relationship. We constantly like are communicating on different things, like what we see on the court and off the court, like different things. She's like really healthy, and so we share recipes or things like that. But I just think like it just goes to show that it's not just about basketball. She's like a mother as well, and she cares about the type of person that you're developing into. She wants us to be strong women, and she shows us every day how to be strong women. And I think it just is super special to have someone like her as a role model and someone to look up to, and she's successful in every aspect. And so I just think having role models like that is super important as a young woman just growing up in society, just having that lead by example. I'm very grateful to play for her. I think being a seventh grader, coming to her camps and like watching all her players be super successful, it's definitely been great to be able to now be in her program and be in her system and be one of those players that she coaches and cares very deeply for. So I'm very grateful for her. She's a great person for me. She's helped me a lot, and just my relationship with her is very important to me.
Yeah, I think my favorite. I always, I still see her stuff like on Instagram and stuff, and she has like the little like dancing memes before. Is it before game days?
No, it's when someone commits, come party with Brenda.
Yes, yes. Come party with Brenda. I always see the little like dancing stuff. I always think that's so funny. So you guys have both been in college and have had you've seen the game grow, you've seen the game go through different things, ups and downs. What do you feel like for women's basketball, seeing it grow, what does it mean to be able to experience that? I feel like from when you guys first came into college, women's basketball is totally different. Speak upon like how you feel like the game has grown with women's basketball.
I just think like right now is the best time to be a part of women's basketball. I just think it's a pivotal time to where a lot of people, it's getting a lot of attention. It's got getting a lot of media. A lot of people are advocating for it, and I think you need a lot of people that are willing to represent women's basketball and do the hard things. So I think just being able to play in the times right now is super special because I think it is taking a turn, and I think it is getting the respect it deserves. It's getting a lot of media attention. And I think, it's because of people like Coach Freeze, who's coached just a ton of really good players and has stayed in the game for as long as she has. And I think just continuing to shape women's basketball players and coaches and just build it up and get people, to keep working up the system is super important. So being able to be a part of it is awesome just because I think, right now it kind of has a limitless ceiling, and I think just being able to be a part of that is special.
Yes. What about you, Mir?
Yeah, I think seeing as though we've been in college for so long, it has changed and we've grown with it. Honestly, if I look back on it, I can see the differences, but like as I was going through the years in college, I didn't really like understand. Like I was just going with the vibes, you know what I mean? So I think looking back on it from my freshman year, not knowing much about anything, and then everything with NIL and all that stuff was changing, and then up until maybe 2 years ago, when people really started to watch women's sports, I think it has changed for the better, just in its competitive spirit and what people want to watch.
Yes, I feel like I think that's a great point of we're in it, so we kind of don't see it as much, go, the process. But like looking back, I know I see women's basketball all the time on TikTok, and like I feel like when I was a freshman, I like would never just see it pop up on my For You pages. So just seeing that is really cool. I think that with social media, it's been really big, and I think that's helpful for us. And I think we deserve it at the end of the day. It's been so many great players that have represented women's basketball. You have so many greats like Maya Moore, and even from Maryland, Alyssa Thomas. Like you have so many greats that have went through that. So it's kind of finally paying off, and to see people like really enjoy the women's game, I think that's just great all around. So going into the season, what game are you guys most excited for?
I'm excited for our game in Puerto Rico versus Kentucky. I think it'll be a big test for us. Obviously, any road game is a test, but Kentucky's a really good team, so I think I'm excited for that game.
I mean, I don't have like a personality where I'm like too high, too low. I kind of stay like in the middle. So I'm not necessarily looking forward to any one game. I'm looking forward to them all, seeing as though it's like my last year.
Yeah, I know. I feel like the games when it's out the country, those are hard games to play because you're in the sun and all this stuff. So that would be a really good game. You guys are playing the Big Ten, so you guys have so many great games throughout the season. But last question, what do you want people to think of when they think about Maryland?
I would probably I know it's like very basic, but like I would probably just say a family. I think, we all are like very intentional about our relationships and how we care about each other and how we treat each other. I think we are very close and we have the relationship we have for a reason. So I feel like just knowing that it is very authentic and it's very genuine is probably the biggest thing for me, is because it does feel like a family, and I think it's really special, just a part of the team. After all the teams I've been on, like I feel like we have a very great relationship with everybody, all staff members, support staff, and I think it's just really special.
Yeah, I agree with Sailor. Family is a key thing. One through, however many people are on the team, we all care about them the same and give them the same amount of opportunity. I think my word, though, even though Sailor's is a really good one, would be multifaceted. Yes, we're a good family oriented program, but also we have things outside of basketball, like school. Like we have a great business school. I think we're considered like a public Ivy or like a really good public school. Um, and like law school, we're right next to DC, so there's a lot of resources with that. I think it's just like the place to be, honestly, and I don't want to say it as like cliche as it sounds, but there's a lot of resources and there's a lot of things that you can get into, um, that can support you outside of the sport that you're in and support you in the ways that you might not identify with. A lot of athletes, they identify with just their sport and not anything outside of that. And I think Maryland exposes um, just the personalities that people can become and the people they can become outside of that sport that they've grown up knowing all their life.
Yeah, and I mean, I love that. I feel like that's an answer I do not hear all the time, and that's probably the biggest or one of the best answers. Just because, like, at someday the ball is going to stop bouncing, and if you're known for being the best player, like at the end of the day, no one cares. One couple years from now, no one's gonna care about that. So, I think that is a really good foundation. And then when you have those things, like the basketball takes care of itself. If you have those things, it just comes that much easier. So that's a really good answer. I'm so excited to watch you guys play this year. Everybody tune in to their games this year and follow them on Instagram. Thank you guys so much for giving me your time.
Yes, thanks for having us.
Yeah, so we're just
Thanks,
excited.
KK.
Yes, and good luck to you this season too.
Yeah.
Thank you.